right, this is probably the culmination of all the videos, and I might get a little preachy, so I just want to let everybody know. I can't tell you enough how you should not lower your personal standards because you have an employee that is not a good fit. We have a desperation outlook in insurance, and trust me, I've heard the horror stories. I've seen people up and walk out, quit by text, and then it's so hard to find people. I completely understand. But if you want to pay a terrorist to your organization, that is equally insanity. So what you have to do as a business owner is identify what is your standard, and if people are not willing to try, step up to the plate and take the investments you're making in them, you have to understand you're wasting your time, effort, and energy, and either accept it, that you're going to have C players, or work to change it. And that might mean putting people on a performance improvement plan, seeing if they sink or swim, and then moving forward. But the time, mistakes, bad attitude, cost of retention, not cross-selling, low closing ratios, all make it a disaster for most people. And why I'm so passionate about this is that, every agency I've worked with, when we've made the decision as a group to terminate somebody after giving them a fair shot, after giving them 90 days of super clear expectations, they have never once regretted it, even when they were short-staffed. Other team members step up to the plate, pick up the slack. You can afford to pay people overtime when you're down that salary to help and pinch hit. But the idea is, as a leader, you have to be constantly architecting your entire team. And when you have people that you wouldn't hire again on your team, that are not A players, that are not even B players, you're literally making an excuse for your agency. And yes, I use the word excuse because you can use the excuse, I can't find anyone, so I'm keeping this person. Honestly, most of the time you got to look in the mirror and say, do you just have the guts to make the address on this? And for many agency owners, they don't have the guts to have the difficult conversation because they're terrified of this person who is holding them hostage. And whether it's 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, the agencies that I see being the most successful, the ones I get the privilege of working with one-on-one, have the stamina and the guts to have the hard conversations and take back control of their agency and say, I only want to pay people I like, respect, trust, and have ambition and want to get after it. And that I want them as brand ambassadors for my agency. But if you have dead weight on your team, I'm going to tell you, the only person suffering is you. And that person's not going home every night thinking about how they could make your agency better. They're not even showing up at work during work hours thinking about how to make your agency better. They're sitting there burned out. Everything's a problem. Everything's an uphill battle. And it's literally exhausting. And let me tell you something. I'd rather see an agency owner dive into the seat and help out than put up with somebody who's just a terrorist to your organization. So have the difficult conversation as we turn into the fall here of taking back control of your agency, and do not lower your standards. Do not hold people you would not hire again. And I'm going to say this too, people change. And I say this because I've had that in my business. I've seen it all across the country. You hire someone and they're here, and then something happens. Like they get worn out, they get burned out, they're having a personal issue. And we always remember them here in glory days, but really they're here, and we got to have the wake up call of this is happening. The second thing I will say is that sometimes if you're doing it right, pretty much actually 100% of the time, if you're doing it right, the hardest thing you may have to deal with as a business owner is if you outgrow an employee. So what this means is they were fine when you were smaller and the job was different, but today you're growing and there's more things and there's more adventure and there's more opportunity, but they're still stuck here and your agency has elevated and continued on its path to being ridiculously amazing, but they're still here. And that is hard because they've been loyal, they're good people, but given the opportunity, they're not stepping up to that next step. And you will have to make those difficult decisions as a business owner. Now, if you're happy with those B or C players, absolutely, but own that and don't complain about it. Don't go home to your spouse and complain about it. Own it, or put them on a plan for 90 days and see what happens. But at the end, be super clear with yourself on what you need to do for your team, your customers, and yourself, because this is your livelihood and your income too. And that's my 3-minute video. Hi, everyone. We made it to Labor Day, right? And I think Labor Day is just a great holiday. It symbolizes sort of the winding down of summer and the start of or heading into fall. Now, out here in New England, our kids go back late. Some of you have already got your kids back in school. But we think it's a great time to just sort of hit the restart button in your agency. Summer vacations are ending, and now we can go ahead and think about the fall. What I want to do is give you guys a big gift. I love employee incentives and recognition. And we have our online store with our ridiculously amazing insurance agent swag. We've got hoodies, and we've got coffee cups, and we've got t-shirts, and anything that you could ever imagine. So if you want to welcome your team back from Labor Day in style, we're actually offering a coupon at 25% off if you use the code Labor Day. So check it out. You might find some good stuff for your team. Maybe there's an anniversary or a birthday you want to recognize, or you're doing a big team meeting, to celebrate your success. All these things are great. So 25% off, code Labor Day. Don't miss out. We'll see you in the next 3-minute video.